understanding that the third candidate, Joanna Jones, has withdrawn from this race, except the ballots were already being prepared and they could not remove her name from the ballot. And lots of people will get their ballot and won't get the message that she's not on it, maybe, or she's not choosing to run. And so we decided...
Well, we now can step down, right?
No. This is your golden opportunity to let people have a double look at you now and in the fall. So this can be your dry run. As with the other races, we're going to start with an opening statement of 1.5 minutes, and we'll begin with Mary Gay.
Well, thank you all for taking the time out of your busy day, and thank you, League of Women Voters, and your friends that are helping you tonight. To those of you that don't know me, I will tell you why I'm running for the school board and why this job is important to me. The world has changed significantly in the past 5 years and will continue to do so with ever-increasing speed. Educational standards and learning requirements are set and rapidly revised simply to keep up with our ever-changing world. Trying to stay in touch and on top of these changes demands time, effort, and attention, which I've given in past terms and can continue to give. I have 5 children, all of whom attended Richland schools, and 10 grandchildren, 3 also attended Richland schools. I am a current member of the Richland School Board and have been serving your children and our community for several years. I am also the legislative representative for the Richland schools, which has enabled me to work with WASDA, which is our state school directors organization, and this way I also stay in touch with our state elected officials and our legislators concerning education matters. I also serve as a representative to the Washington Interathletic Association. Education is a promise to both our children and to us, a promise that they will be able to meet the challenges the world will place in front of them tomorrow, and to us that they will be ready and capable of, you put up the sign, of resolving them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we'll move on to Brian Barth.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to utilize this forum. My name is Brian Barth, and I am an educator with 5 years of experience in high school classrooms where I taught social studies and Japanese. I was a teacher in both Las Vegas and Auburn, Washington. While teaching, I went on to get my master's in secondary administration at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I also helped coach track and soccer and mentored a very dynamic Japanese club. I enjoyed teaching immensely. Currently, I'm a businessman. I have been in the private sector at the forefront of construction industry. I've built several schools in my years in construction on both Western Washington and Eastern Washington. Most recently, I worked for Sherman-L Construction, who actually built this facility. I currently work for William Charles West as a project manager, and I'm involved with the project for the Pasco School District at this moment. So I am attuned to what facilities and buildings should cost and how to get the most efficient costs out of a building program. I am also a parent. I have 5 wonderful children. My oldest daughter is in college and was just recently married. My second oldest daughter graduated from Hansford and also obtained her associates at the CBC Running Start. All my children are in the Richland School District. I will do everything possible to maintain and improve the educational program of the Richland School District. As a parent, I will watch the dollars to ensure that taxpayers' money are spent on student outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to the question and answer portion. Again, they have 1.5 minutes to answer, and we'll begin with you, Ms. Gay. This is a question from the audience. There has been a lot of controversy about the use of novels in Richland High School language arts classes, which contain pervasive obscenity, profanity, and explicit sexual content. Do you think that the Richland School Board has struck a good balance on approving these materials, or if elected, would you try to change the current standards, and in what way?
Well, I believe that the IMC has accomplished what it started out to do. However, I made a mistake on this latest book. I didn't read it. And from now on, I'll be reading far more books than I've read before, because I'm not going to pass or fail a book unless I've read it anymore. I think that we have an opt-out policy that parents know about, and that if they don't want their children reading a book, that they're able to do that. And I think that the staff brings books to us because there's a reason for the book. The latest book was to be used in ninth grade because they do a course in Indian culture and that, and I think it was an apropos book for that class. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Barth?
Will you repeat the question?
Oh, sure. There has been a lot of controversy about the use of novels in Richland High School language arts classes which contain pervasive obscenity, profanity, and explicit sexual content. Do you think that the Richland School Board has struck a good balance on approving these materials, or if elected, would you try to change the current standards, and in what way?
Okay. Thank you for the question. My mic may not be working. I am a member of the IMC, Instructional Materials Committee. I have been for the last year. And it has been my regretful duty to have to read some of the stuff that's being passed off as literature. So while I do believe that the board, although I guess as a member of the committee, I would say that we haven't always felt like the board listens too awful much to our recommendations. However, I do know that they acknowledge that, and I just don't believe there's a requirement for them to read a book absolutely when they've entrusted that to a fine committee such as we've run. So I think we've done our job, and I think the board is trying to remedy a situation. The breakdown in the system was how some of this material got approved anyway. And I'm all for good literature. I'm an educator, and I believe that we can stretch our children's imaginations and learning with good literature, but I think there has to be quality, and I think that some of this falls short of the mark of literature and is a little less than that and didn't belong in the first place. So while I applaud the opt-out and the syllabuses and things, it's too much for working parents to shepherd through all the literature books that their children have the opportunity to read. So I hope that the school board will continue the pace and increase the pace in qualifying this material. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we'll let you answer this next question first. Unfortunately, for economic reasons, this isn't the best time to be a beginning teacher looking for a job. Do you think the district will do enough to help those new teachers who might be fortunate enough to be hired by the Richland School District to succeed in the classroom?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because I remember being a new teacher and not being able to afford much. And I remember coming to a new school and I had 5 different classes in 5 different rooms. So I traveled with the students down the hall and I didn't feel too valued or respected. But I do know that Richland, being the fine district that it is, works hard to bring along new teachers so that they're mentored and can feel a part of the school system and enjoy their new chosen career. My hat's off to any teachers. I appreciate the work that they do, and I will continue to lend a hand to help new students, because I know what it's like to be new and fall through the cracks.
Thank you. Ms. Gay?
Yes, I do. I believe that the school district now, under the new superintendent, is continually striving to improve instruction in the classroom, and our mission statement demands this. It states that ensuring classrooms with high expectations and clear standards and strong classroom management and effective teaching practices, incorporating new knowledge into practice through professional development. That's the statement. So as a school, the classroom study is underway involving a team from the Burke Group. We've just begun this, and they'll be in the classroom helping teachers. Part of the purpose of this study is to determine the effectiveness of our classroom instruction through observation. And I've watched how they do it, and they go in the classroom and they're there for the teacher and help at all times, and it's amazing how things change.
Okay, thank you. And now you get to go first on this question. What one specific change would you like the school board to make that you think would improve the district?
Elect me.
That's you. That's the trouble with just 2 of you. You finish up and then you've got to start again.
I'm sorry. I do want to continue on the board, and there's a multitude of things that we're doing right now. We have a new superintendent, and He's really gung-ho and moving everybody forward. It's exciting. It's a wonderful time. He wants to involve the public and all of you. He wants to have you visiting the schools, and I do too. I spend between 10 and 15 hours a week on school board work, and a lot of that is going into the classroom and talking to the students and the teachers. And I would like to see that to continue, have that continue. It's important. I don't know if that answered the question or not.
Okay, Mr. Barth, is there a specific change you would like the school board to make that would improve the district?
Well, as a parent and educator, I would like to recognize that teachers and administrators work for the taxpayers and the parents. And so I think that keeping that foremost in our minds, we would encourage an environment that supports the family and wholesome lifestyle that we enjoy here in Richland, and that we don't get seduced into going the way of some of the big cities that may have been mentioned already here this evening, but that we carefully guard the cultural and the politics and the social engineering of what could possibly happen in schools, and we protect as servants of the parents and the taxpayers that we watch as our fiduciary duty to maintain a equal playing field so that all students feel welcome in a wholesome environment.
Okay, thank you. Since there are only two of you, and to keep it fair, we'll ask another question, and we'll let you go first, Mr. Barth. This is kind of a Goldilocks question. Do you agree with the amount of testing done within the district? Is it too much, not enough, or just right? Please explain.
That is tough because I do believe in testing. However, the quantity of testing, sometimes we can lean too heavily to testing, and that can happen as the federal government, plays a larger and larger role. They don't often pony up the dollars, but they kind of dictate the pace sometimes. And I believe that learning can be increased as we keep it local. And so therefore I would balance the amount of testing. I don't think that's the end all be all. However, it is important to see how you stand amongst the peers and neighboring districts and across the world. So it's kind of a yes and no question. Absolutely, it's a valuable tool, but this teaching to the test and some of the marks that we're trying to make fall short of true learning.
Thank you. And Ms. Gay?
Yes, I think the MAP test is essential. I think that tells each and every teacher after it's happened exactly where the children are and what she can do to help, he or she can do to help them move ahead. As you know, we are known in the state for our work against WASL. That was the math one, and it's been, now there's a test that the state has. It's the Washington Assessment of Student Learning has replaced with the MSP for grades 3 through 8. That's a measurement of student learning. The goal of the test is to measure student progress, and that's what you're here for. The HSPE is to measure high school students, and they must pass the exit test in reading and writing. These are required tests by OSPI. I can't say, no, we can't test the children today because we're not going to do it.
Okay, thank you. We won't make you answer more than 4 questions because that really wouldn't be fair either since nobody else had to. But we'll go on to your closing statements, and we'll begin with Brian Barth.
Thank you. I really appreciate the format. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you all for being in attendance. Are you excited about the education your children are receiving, or are there things you'd like to change about it? Well, if you'll vote for me, I'm going to listen. I promise to be a servant on the school board and to put the needs of parents and constituents first. So that will be my utmost goal. As a parent and educator, I understand that learning is voluntary, and our children can improve the quickest when they have control and a say in what they're learning and when. I believe that as a director, I will facilitate and support decisions that provide students with an active role in their learning. I will stand with fellow educators on tough issues that make a difference for students and teachers. In me, you have a board member who believes in the nobility of teachers. I enjoy teaching, and I have will bring the same passion to the school board. I'm looking to bring a change to the school board, a positive change. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank both of these candidates. Remember, there will be 3 names, but it's our understanding that Joanna...
Oh, how could you forget me?
I don't know, I'm not that anxious to go home, but anyway, I'm sorry. So we will hear from Mary Gay.
Thank you very much. All my life I've cared about education and the system which governs it. It has taken years to fully learn and understand how it works and how we can work within it. It is my greatest hope to be given the opportunity to continue to champion and improve student learning. My years on the board have taught me that while I may not agree fully with every decision reached and every policy implemented, I can find common ground and understanding for why they were implemented. The board needs to attend conferences and seek out valid literature and materials to aid in the district's growth. And these are all efforts which I have supported in the past and will continue to do in the future. I'm seeking your vote and hope that you will support my efforts to bring about positive change and growth for our educational system. Please vote for me.
I want to thank the 2 candidates, again, Brian Barth and Mary Gay. Takes a lot of energy and commitment to run for public office, so we have to commend them both and thank them for being here tonight. And remember, it's our understanding that Joanna Jones has withdrawn and is not officially running, but her name will appear on the ballot. Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.